Welcome to A More Brilliant Life. We share inspiring stories from people who hit rock bottom, faced their challenges, and transformed their lives. Learn how you can rise above expectations, discover who you are, and reclaim your future.
I mean, if our situation hadn't changed, how long do you think we would have stayed together?
That's a really good question. I have not thought about that before. Yeah.
All right. My guest today is Kylie Rieke, who is my wife.
Hey, babe.
Welcome to A Brilliant Life podcast. This is where we share stories of reinvention. The goal of the podcast is to get people's stories of transition out, stories of personal transformation, stories of how people have changed their lives and changed their life situation. And the purpose of doing that is to show others, people who are stuck in a situation they don't really like, that it's possible to grow, it's possible to change, and you do not have to be the same person you always have been. So, Kylie, you have an amazing story to tell, obviously, and I know it quite well from my perspective. But let's just start with where you are today, and then we'll go back in time.
Okay.
But what are you up to today?
Okay. First of all, thank you for allowing me to be your first honorary guest out of many. I'm excited for this podcast because we're going to hear so many inspiring people. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So right now we are in Costa Rica, and we're living the dream. Yeah. Every day is an adventure. And that it was not always that way. So,
yeah. What do you do in Costa Rica?
We are life coaching, and we are in the process of launching a book, and we got a lot of other ideas percolating, but we really just want to use all our life lessons and our story to help other people really make good changes in their life to find more happiness.
And what inspired you to want to move to Costa Rica? Or
I just feel so good in Costa Rica. Mm-hmm. I think that's like the deep down reason. I just love how I feel when I'm in Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's the short version of where you are today. What take us back to rock bottom. What was your life like before Costa Rica?
Yeah, like probably 10 years ago-ish, around that time frame. It was, I was not living according to my own thoughts or dreams, or I was living the life I was told to live instead of the one I wanted to live. And
who was telling you to live that way? Whose thoughts were you living by?
The expectations that I felt from other people. So, I mean, no one was actually telling me to do those things or live that way, but I thought
so it was more of
I
like
was supposed to do.
It was more at a subconscious level, like something you were unaware of.
Yeah, it was like all my limiting beliefs, just like holding me down with chains, thinking that I had to work and I had to suffer and I had to be a servant to my family, and I thought that was normal. I thought that was the way I was supposed to live. And I didn't think outside the box enough to realize that I could choose the way that I wanted to live.
So what was it that, I mean, how did you come to realize that you have more control over your life situation than you know? Or, I mean, you know what I mean? Does the question make sense?
It took a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It took a lot because I was in a zombie state, and I was married to a zombie. And we were the fifth generations of zombies. And so like to really think for ourselves and do things differently it took a lot. And we had to hit rock bottom of depression, of physical health, of mental health, of emotions and emotional health, and just like question, like, is this really what life is supposed to be? And so luckily when we hit rock bottom, we couldn't accept it, and we slowly started taking responsibility for some of those things little by little, and realizing that the more responsibility we took for ourselves, our health, our situation, the more empowered we were and the more we could change.
So what do you think was there a pivotal moment, or was there ever like a pressure cooker where all of a sudden like they built up so much pressure that it just, you needed to hit the release valve? Was there any moment like that you think that created like just kind of a truckload of motivation to change?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about this as a married couple and as talking about our journey, but like, I feel like in our case, there was a lot of pivotal moments because we had a lot to change. Like it wasn't one big disaster. It was a lot of small disasters that kept our growth escalating. And so probably for me, my physical health was getting diagnosed with pre-diabetes because I was eating such a terrible diet.
So that was a wake-up call?
It was, yeah. And then also along the way, like different wake-up calls, waking us up to different things, and realizing, oh, we don't have a retirement account. So we decided we had to kind of take matters into our own hands, and we started investing in real estate. We also realized that the business transition that we were in the midst of for the past 10 years was not going in the right way. And so luckily you stepped up and questioned things to the point that it sort of collapsed the empty promises. And it kind of catapulted our careers in a different direction, which also catapulted our lives in a different direction because our lives were based on our careers. And so I guess there was one super pivotal moment when I was in Costa Rica on a vacation and realized that I no longer was willing to fight for that career and that life and that staying in that community and that business, the family business and all those things. And it happened to be in Costa Rica when I was feeling amazing, and like, so I feel amazing here and I feel awful at home. Like I'm not willing to go back to that. I'm done. So it wasn't then that we decided to move to Costa Rica, but it was definitely the start of something, knowing that like, okay, we feel awful, let's get rid of that. Let's find out how we feel amazing and move towards it.
So how can you think of like specific like how-tos, like how exactly did you get yourself out of your situation? How exactly did you improve your situation, your overall situation, your you know what I mean? Like how? Yeah. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who are just completely stuck and they're looking around in their life and they're saying, I am so deep in this hole, like there's nothing that I can do about it. And so like, how is it that you were able to dig yourself out of that position? Yeah,
that's actually exactly why we wrote the book, is because we wanted to help people. And we boiled it down to 6 phases that got us from super stuck and trapped in a life that we hated to freedom. And so within these 6 phases, it's a general idea of a type of freedom, but it gives kind of different areas and very actionable steps to take within each of those areas. So, I mean, I can tell you a few, but there's a lot of them in the book for people to try out. And
just tell us the 6 overall steps.
Sure, the 6 phases.
The phases, thank you.
Yeah, so it starts with contemplate, which was a big one for us, where you really, you have to really ask yourself, am I living the life that I'm meant to live? Am I happy? Am I thinking for myself or following my own path, or am I just acting the way I think I'm supposed to act? So it's really trying to get clear. You know, one specific action step to take is really like quieting the external buzz of the external world. Like, I think we recommend maybe limiting your news intake, which may bother
and I think
some people to hear. But
yeah, but I feel like the justification behind that is that we distract ourselves from the truth. Like, it's those super quiet moments when you like you're not with the kids, you're not with the rest of your family, you're alone somewhere, and it kind of triggers this self-reflection that can scare the crap out of people.
Yeah.
And they don't like what they see.
Yeah.
And so what do you do? You pull out your phone and you're like, oh, I gotta check the news or whatever, and you just like, you kind of tamp those feelings down to the point where, you know, they come back to bite you.
Yeah. It sounds like kind of an easy, silly step, but it's actually a kind of a hard monster to face, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah, if you truly face it, because a lot of people are unwilling to really think about it. But okay, so that's phase 1. Phase 2 is investigate, and I like to think of it as follow the white rabbit, where you start following your joy and your curiosity and your intuition, and you just start doing the unique things that you love to do, no matter what anybody else thinks, and you start to feel alive again, and you start to feel like a unique being and you find the path to your purpose. Yeah. So after that, it's activate, which is really focusing on your health, so that you can really level up everything in your life, like your physical health and mental and emotional, and really just doing all the really it's fairly basic things, but if you just really work on that foundation, it's really powerful. So like sleep, and like, you know, eating healthy, and getting exercise, and it's a lot of things that people are, I know, I just don't have time, or things, but actually they're that is a really important part of the journey, and you're not going to get there completely without really taking a hard look at all those basic things.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's just a few key pillars of health, and you really cannot have a sturdy foundation if you don't first attack those key pillars, which, you know, sleep, diet, exercise, and then just the, you know, mental clarity. Like those are like the 4 key pillars that really you can't get to the next level without it.
And we had none of them. Like we were in a spot 10 years ago that all of them were failing us, and when all the pillars fail, that's when it comes crashing in.
Yeah.
So
So that was activate?
That was activate. That was number 3. And number 4 is eliminate, where now, you know, like you've started all the potentially healthy habits, healthy rituals, and added all these good things into your life. You kind of start to realize the things that are holding you back, and the things that maybe you need to let go of, and things that are maybe even toxic, and letting those things go is actually a really important step. Yeah.
What's after eliminate?
Then we have accelerate. So that's really going all in on the things that you have learned up to now in the first 2 phases, and really taking everything to kind of an extreme level, hopefully in a healthy way, but also really leaning into all the unique things.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you learn so much from the extremes, like because extreme health is it is a drug in and of itself, and you kind of get to a point where you're like, no, I don't want to feel like crap tomorrow. I don't want to overeat that meal because I know what it's going to feel like. So, you know, and then you also, with extreme health, I feel like comes just extreme energy and vibrancy and mental clarity and everything. And so like you add all that together and it's kind of intoxicating in and of itself. And you start to want to feel good. And I think one of the realizations that as people come out of their depression, as people come out of their, you know, just terrible situations or lives that they hate, like they realize that because you've lived like that for so long, you start to get a little bit of addicted to that sensation. You start to get like, that becomes your normal, that becomes your thermostat. And so like, you know, you can have these little spikes of like, oh, I feel good right now, but then you always kind of come back down and and return to that baseline. And so what I think happens is like you really have to work intentionally to get yourself up off of that thermostat and want to feel good, because you got to get to that next level of feeling good long enough in order for it to feel natural and for you to feel like yourself. Like there's a point where like, well, I don't feel like myself when I'm feeling good all the time. Like it just feels weird. It feels uncomfortable. And so then you kind of self-sabotage and go back to some of your old habits. And but you know, you don't even enter into that awareness without going after some of these extreme measures, I think.
Yep, and it's also very future oriented, this whole phase, just like what do you want? Like like setting goals and life visioning and just not holding back. Let's see. We've gotten through the first 5 phases, so the final phase is navigate, and that navigate is all about your relationships. And so especially between a life partner, your spouse, it's especially important that you navigate that relationship carefully, and you both need to keep growing. And so you have to make sure you support your spouse or your kids or, you know, the people most important to you. Support them in the right way so that they are empowered, they are confident to step up as well and keep growing. And so if you grow together, that is it's such a powerful, it makes your life like exponentially better.
I think one of the most common themes that happens when people go through a major transformation in their life is that they kind of come to realize like, okay, who's really behind you and who's really supportive of you, or you can sometimes find out like, okay, who is just jealous or who wants you to stay the same. And that's not always a great feeling when you realize that like some of the people in your circle, you know, you can kind of sense it underneath a little bit that like they want me to be my same old self, and you know, like they don't, like my old friends don't want me to quit drinking, you know, and in or whatever the new healthy you or the new transformation that you're going through, sometimes it does put a light on who's there for you and who isn't.
And it's not necessarily that they don't want the best for you, but it makes them feel bad
about themselves.
Yeah,
in comparison. That's what it is we are all kind of stuck in this this world of comparisons.
And if they're not ready to change it, it's hard. So especially between spouses, if one
Yeah.
is changing and the other one's not ready to change, I guess we may have hit that a little bit
Yeah.
in our marriage,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a pretty rough spot.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what's your advice for someone in that situation?
We do kind of talk about that a little bit in the book about like, obviously you want to try to make it work. Like you want to support them in the right way. Because if you're not supporting them in the right way, then it doesn't help anything. So like we do give a lot of options for different ways to support your spouse, especially. It's hard when it's something that doesn't really resonate with you, but it's what your spouse needs. So you kind of have to be willing to support them in the way that's right for them, but also, set good example and try to have patience and hold space for them. In the end, it's their decision. So you kind of have to let go, and you have to, at some point, make that decision. Like how long are you willing to wait? Are you going to set an ultimatum? Are you going to keep trusting empty promises, or is there something that they can prove to you that they are willing to step up and make the change?
Is there an appropriate amount of time to wait for the other person to come along?
Oh, I think it's, no, because I'm sure it's different for everyone.
I mean, if our situation hadn't changed, how long do you think we would have stayed together?
That's a really good question. I have not thought about that before. Yeah. How long do you think we stayed together where it was pulling apart?
I mean, somewhere in that 2 to 3 year time frame.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt like it got really rough for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Period. I mean,
and it is a slow process.
Right.
Like at first, it's not that big of a deal, you know. And it just, as more and more space grows between you, it's more painful.
So if after that rough patch that we went through, how much longer do you think you could have stuck it out?
Oh gosh, there's so many different variables. Yeah, depends on if I could have stayed on growing or just regressed.
Or if I was holding you back, or if your situation was kind of dragging you down.
Yeah, like if I would have started feeling more motivation to grow and you like kept pulling back. Oh gosh, I don't know if I can even answer that question.
All right, we can move on.
Maybe a couple years. That would be my hypothetical.
What do you think were some of the biggest challenges you faced during the transformation, during the transition? In that it's a loose time frame, but like, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced throughout your journey?
I don't know. Probably questioning myself, and all of a sudden, like, all these people are telling you you're going off the deep end.
So it
and
was
like
a mental.
Start questioning your own.
Yeah.
The path you're going down, and like, oh, maybe I do need to go get a 9-to-5 job, and I need to go get health insurance, and we need to just buy a house with a white picket fence, because that's the safe thing to do.
So it was more of a mental battle, mental hurdle to get over?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Just staying strong on the dream, and like your own joy and what you want your life to be, against everyone's limiting beliefs. So the limiting beliefs, I think, are the hardest things to break.
What are some of the limiting beliefs?
You know, I think the scariest one out there, one of the scariest ones out there is that when you become an adult, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
You're just done. Like, that's who you are.
Like you've chosen your path and you can't change it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. This is you now, and you're just gonna get old and fat and lazy,
mm-hmm.
and just make money for your kids so they can go have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really it's so depressing. It's such a depressing place to be in, and that's where we were for a while,
mm-hmm.
where we just thought, like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we were in our 30s, and we're like, this is all life is gonna be like for
mm-hmm.
the rest, and then
it does. It's
so depressing.
Right. The best way that I can describe it is like, if you're not growing, you're dying, and that's truly how it feels.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, there's some people that like are just have to continue their own personal growth, or I feel like their body, their mind, it all just rebels against them. And I think that's what happened to us, is we just kind of hit this block where it was like, it felt like there was no hope. It felt like this was it. And it felt like we were going to do this for the rest of our lives. And then, and it did. It really we just had to grow past it and get through it. And it did. It was totally a sensation of like, you started dying, and you started actually taking off decades or years of life at the end of your life, going down that same depressing path.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was dark. It's so dark when that's how you think life is. Like kids are, like when you're a kid, you're supposed to like, your job is learning and growing, and it's super fun, and you're free, and you're running around, and then in your 20s, and then you go to college, and in your 20s, and you're everyone tells you, oh, you're in the prime of your life, and you're doing all this, and then as soon as you hit 30, everyone thinks you just need to settle down, and just, that's who you are, you're done.
And stay in your career, stay in your lane.
And this is who you are, and they get mad if you want change.
Yeah, or you find out who gets mad and
That's true.
Who
Not
doesn't.
everyone gets mad.
So can you think of experiences post-transformation or post-transition, that some life experiences that you've had that you never would have dreamed of having, 5-10 years ago, when you were kind of stuck in this slump?
Yeah, like all of them.
Yeah.
Like writing a book. Like, oh my gosh. That's a dream come true. Living in Costa Rica. Yeah, with my handsome hubby and my 2 beautiful girls. And we live in this 3-bedroom condo that overlooks the beautiful landscape, and
I can clip in a picture here and show everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't think if someone would have told me with 100% certainty that this would be my life, I would not have believed them. Would not have believed it could ever happen, because we thought our lives were completely settled. Like, we thought that was it. Like, we didn't think there was any way to ever change or ever do anything differently. So we thought we just had to follow the usual American dream. And if we got 1 week of vacation a year, we should be grateful for it. Away from Minnesota. And yeah.
Do you have any regrets?
Anything
you would have changed?
No, I mean, no, because it could have changed the outcome, and yeah, I love where we are, and I also love that this is not the end.
I lost you.
Oh, shoot. Reconnecting.
Okay. So, regrets or anything you would have changed about going through the transition or the transformation?
Yeah. Initially, no. I don't want to change anything, because I'm so grateful for where we are today, and how it helped us grow into these people. And I'm glad that this is not the end. Like this is not just like our transformation from 10 years ago to today. It's like it continues. And so just everything that we've learned has been exactly what our souls needed to learn to get to here and to keep going. I guess the one thing I would say, as long as it didn't change us, like I know some feelings got hurt along the way, and I would honestly take them back if I could. It's not like we intended to hurt anyone, but sometimes indirectly it does, and so I would take that back if possible.
Okay. What are you most proud of in your journey?
Probably the magnitude of our transformation so far, like just that how far we've come.
If you could sum it up in like a few words, what were you before and what are you now? Does that make sense? So like, if you can give me like, what was your identity before pre-transformation? What is it today?
Pre-transformation, I was hopeless, and then just every day was the same. So now every day is a new adventure.
How long do you think it took for you to get to become the new you? Like how, like start to finish? How many years would you, when did it start, and when did you feel like, okay, I'm a new person now?
I don't think there is a start and finish, honestly, but I thought there was going to be a finish when we moved to Costa Rica. Like I thought that was going to be like, now I'm the new person. I didn't feel that way. I didn't feel any different, and I realized that like I had already become the new person and then moved to Costa Rica. So like the move itself did not actually change me. It was leading up to it that I was the slow transformation, and then moving to Costa Rica, well, that was just taking that person into the next place. So I don't think there's ever a start and finish.
Okay, so it's always a changing. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think. Do you have any words of advice for somebody who is feeling hopeless right now, is feeling stuck in their lives, and what would you tell them?
I feel like they have to find the way themselves, because no matter what I tell them, I don't know, but there is like, you can change. No matter how stuck you feel, no matter what your situation, you can change. You start changing yourself, and you just have to take the next step. You can't wait for the world to change itself. You have to start changing.
Love it. What do you have a personal mantra? Before I've only got a couple questions left, but like, do you have a personal mantra? Is there something that's like that you're all about? Like, what are you all about?
Yes. Yep.
What is it?
Yes. It's my.
Oh, nice.
Can you see it?
You move a little to the center, other way. There. Yeah, that looks good. Yep, you got it.
So, if you can't see, it's follow the white rabbit, and I have a tattoo on my left shoulder.
What does follow the right? What does it mean? What does follow the white rabbit mean?
To me, it means feeling like Alice in Wonderland, or Neo in the Matrix, where you question the world and the rules around you that don't make sense, that are there to just hold you in place, and you start following your own intuition, and you ask questions and you get curious and you find things that make you feel joyful, and you find the real world and the real you.
Yeah, and you keep uncovering more and more layers as you do,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. What's next? What are your hopes for your future?
Well, I'm really excited for this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, interviewing lots of interesting people and inspiring stories. Really excited to launch the book. Mm-hmm. We have a fairly new website, and we're at this time we're offering personal life coaching. Mm-hmm. Hoping to get a few online courses out there for if you just want to go at your own pace, at your own time. Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited to see where those things lead.
Mm-hmm. Good. Where can we? What's your web address? Where can we find you?
It's brilliantlifejourney.com.
Okay.
Is our website, and then we're on YouTube, obviously. Hopefully you're seeing us there right now. Or I suppose this would be a podcast on Spotify or
it should
any
go out
place.
on a few different platforms.
Yeah. So YouTube, we're at Brilliant Life Journey, or other social media. We're trying to get started with all the things.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Anything else you want to say?
I love you.
I love you too. All right. It's a good way to end it. Mm-hmm.
Hey, thanks for listening. I hope you got some value out of hearing Kylie's story of transformation. If you want to find out more about us and our mission, check out our website at brilliantlifejourney.com.